Greetings. This is Skylar Saunders Singh. What's current? This is not for Mr. Troy Star Terrain. He has a strict policy that I know of, with dealing with kids, dealing with, different children and, different aspects of the entertainment business. He does not deal with kids. And I respect that about him because he doesn't want to get into some drama slash stress slash tension, with for putting out the different content regarding children. But I'm not Mr. Choice Out Terrain. He's only a facilitator in my life. He's not a mentor. He's nobody's mentor. He's a facilitator though. He makes it easier for me to get the word out about my shows and increase my views and my read my subscription base. So I have to salute him, but this is not for him. I usually have on Mondays a show allocated for him to put into his community section. This ain't gonna be in there. All right, so pretty serious. I was laughing a little bit, but it was pretty serious. It's a documentary called "Quiet on Set: The Dark Side of Kids TV." I did not see the documentary, but I read about it. I took in enough notes, and I think I'm ready to go and talk about it right now. Um, it's mainly focusing on a man named Dan Schneider. He was a showrunner for many of the different programs that were on Nickelodeon during the mid to late '90s and early 2000s, which launched the careers of such people as Kenan Thompson, who was the longest running player on SNL, and Amanda Bynes, Ariana Grande. The list goes on and on, but it was a dark side to it. It was a sad side to it. There was a sad situations where there were convicted, pedophiles on the set of the program, the different Nickelodeon shows. So that's a major issue. That's major. That's sick. That's disgusting. And these are kids. This is the era of my childhood. This is my childhood when I was coming up, the mid '90s to early 2000s. Right before I stepped into manhood. I was watching Nickelodeon and a little bit of Disney. Disney as well. Disney when I was younger, and then it switched to Nickelodeon. And I was watching for the Kids Choice Awards, and somebody gets slimed. Pause. But it was a good atmosphere. Everything is all bright and bubbly and happy. Got smiles, and everything you don't see. Wasn't all fun, love, luck, and lollipops though. It wasn't always that way. Ben Schneider, he created a dangerous place, a toxic place for the children and as well as adults. He made a place where it was very difficult to have a living session because you're working with these people, 12, 15 hours a day, doing these programs, and it takes a toll. It takes a toll on the kids, especially. They're really young adults. They're getting more money than their parents probably made, in the past few years. Just being on a television show. So it just reminds me. I mean, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like, did Drake have any Degrassi issues? Did he have any when he was coming up? Did he have any issues with Degrassi? Like, it's just little things like that that just get claw at you and gnaw at you, because you really want to know the truth. That's all this is about: getting to the truth, not trying to just tear down somebody's character just to tear him down, but let the world know who this Dan Schneider guy was, who these other people were. That these men, mainly white men, who were responsible for all this tension and turmoil that was going on behind the scenes. And it's you have different situations. There was one situation where I don't know the actor's name off the top of my head. I can't think of it, but he was in a sketch where he was covered in peanut butter, and they allowed dogs to lick off of him. And there's he's not at fault. I don't think he was really at fault. He's a child. You have a child's mentality. You can be, really strong willed, like a Mr. Troy Star Terrain, and say, like, man, F you. Like, I ain't doing that. But some kids, may not be that strong-minded. But the other person involved, not just Dan Schneider, is the parents. The parents should have had more guidance, more allowance to the scripts, more allowance to the setups, the scenarios that were going on, and let that be known. I have 2 people in here, and I don't have any likes. Let that be known. Could you smash the like button for me? Just smash it. Just hit the like button. All it takes is a click. And also subscribe. All it takes is one click. Tap. Click. Subscribe. Thank you. Now subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, whoever you were. But anyway, I also need that other like. If there's 2 people in here, I need that other like. Yeah, so the parents had to be there. They were probably the stewards over their finances in the first place. They're probably the ones that were guiding them in the direction of getting the money that they generated from being on these shows. And that's what the sad part about all this is, that it's all in fun. It's all good until it's not. A little boy getting licked on by some dogs, some peanut butter. That reminds me of like slavery days. That's like what they would do to a child in a slave kind of situation. He was a black young man, and he was like, I don't like this. And he wasn't saying like, I don't like this. He was like, I don't like this. He said it very, very clear, very somber. So that was the nature of the Dan Schneider era at Nickelodeon. I don't really know who is at the helm of it right now, who's the showrunner of Nickelodeon right now. But I think, okay, I got 3 people. There's that. You got to hit that like button, make sure, and you hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Tell somebody else to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you've already subscribed, hit the like button. But it's really sad. It's sad because you're supposed. All this is about fun. It's all about having a good time. As a kid, this is my childhood. All that, the Amanda Show, Wild and Crazy Kids, Hey Dude, all those shows. That was before his era. That was before Dan Schneider's era. Hey Dude, Salute Your Shorts, all that. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Come on now. This is my childhood. Came up with this. And then to find out, behind the scenes, all this disgusting behavior is going on. That's just sad. That's really sad. That's a sad, low point for, television networks. And I think they clean up their act. I'm pretty sure they've, restructured. Dan Schneider is no longer, on the channel at all. I have 0 viewers right now. Let me know. I'm letting you know, letting the world know. 0 viewers. So rebroadcast people out there. Make sure you hit the like. Hit the subscribe button. I think you still hit the like button. I can't remember. But anyway, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's terrible. It's sad. It's because it's children. It's kids. These are kids. They may have had something, a joke on TV. This reminds me of Rick James is in here, but he sent me he didn't send me, but he told me about this video called Life with Grandpa. And it's got these overarching Christian themes saying, if you do something bad, you're going to get a spanking. And then they showed the little puppets get spankings and stuff like that. And Jesus loves you only if you get a spanking or something. It's weird. It's goofy, creepy, weird stuff. Then at the end, I'm spoiling it. I don't care. There's a robot with literal titties on the robot, like a metal, like looks like Rosie on Jetsons. What is that? What the hell is that? That's like you're showing kids all these mixed messages. And what are you doing? It's disturbing. But that was like Nickelodeon. I didn't see any of the jokes. But it said, from convicted pedophiles on set to sexual jokes on kids' TV, the new documentary has people revisiting the children's entertainment juggernaut. I don't know who he is really, but Drake Bell is another Drake, but Drake is really Aubrey, but he was on there. Um, the network says, "quote This is from today. Though we cannot corroborate or negate allegations of behaviors from productions decades ago, Nickelodeon has a matter of policy investigates all formal complaints as a part of our commitment to fostering a safe and professional workplace environment free of harassment or other kinds of inappropriate conduct," the network said. Snyder's rise to Netflix and all that. The first part of the documentary begins by tracking how Snyder came to be involved with Nickelodeon. He all that ran from 1994 to 2005. I didn't even realize that. I stopped watching when I was like 10, 11, maybe 12. I was like, all right, that's for little kids. I'm on SNL now. I'm on Mad TV now. Anybody remember Mad TV? Yeah, so they said, all right, this is another quote. It was gross. It was weird, Sullivan says. Um, the show was full of these uncomfortable sketches. I think Dan got a kick out of walking in line with that. Two cast members, Hearn and Samuels, described the racial dynamics on set. Samuel said she was like the token black girl. Hearn says Snyder had a closer relationship with some of the white kids, and then he didn't feel close to him at all. So there was some kind of racial idealism. Okay, Rick James is in the building. He's definitely in the building. Salute to Rick James. Spell my name almost right. He almost had it. He just just left off the S at the end of Saunders. He would have had my whole name, but I'll give it to him. Salute and respect. I was just talking about you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, you wanted the best. You got rebest. The man who looks through the looking glass and sees. I present Skylar Saunder sees. It's seeing, by the way. It's not sees. It's Skylar Saunders seeing. But I appreciate you, Rick James. But this whole Nickelodeon thing, I was just watching the creepy, like this was probably weird. The creepiest, shows probably, maybe had the weirdest people behind them. Maybe I don't know. That's all alleged. But there were creepy shows like The Lovitz and Grandpa Life with Grandpa and all kinds of different shows that Rick James put me on. And I'm just thinking, are they behind the scenes? Are they fondling the little boys or touching the little girls or doing all this crazy stuff? Drake Bell is projecting, sir. What do you mean he's projecting? Yeah, I watched The Lovitz. It's creepy as hell, but as long as the people behind the cameras weren't creepy, I don't have a problem with it. See, that's the thing. Like, all that wasn't creepy. The Amanda Bynes show wasn't creepy. I don't know what else the hell else came after. That's two shows. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like I said before, Wild and Crazy Kids, all that. Sleet Your Shorts, Hey Nude, all that. I don't know who was behind them, but I hope they weren't pedophiles and sickos and weirdos. That would be atrocious. That'd be awful. To have kids grow up. These are like top tier children. They have the ability to be on a TV show. Who could have said that? That's before you even knew about money like that. You were like, oh my God, they're on the TV. Oh my God, this is crazy. Could you imagine if they're friends? They must have been like, man, you're on TV. That's cool as hell. That's hella cool. That's really cool. But the money probably was crazy. They probably didn't get as much money as they should. I mean, they were probably getting harassed. They were probably, getting yelled at. I can just imagine it. Rick James says the Lovitz and Life with Grandpa are made by the Family International, a church that was operated by pedophiles. Okay. So there you go. Rick James just broke it down. The Lovitz and Life with Grandpa. So why did you start watching it? How long have you known about it? Did you know about it when they were first producing those shows? You're a lot older than me. You were a lot. You were an adult when those shows were first produced in the mid to late '80s, right? Something like that, like almost 40 years ago. I can't say in case. Oh Lord, Rick James saying he can't say in case something. In case what, sir? I got a show to do. I can't wait on you bated breath. But yeah, it's a mess. It's sad. It's sad. It really is sad. It truly is. So the documentary is on ID and Max. Um, so Amanda Bynes might have had, there was different sets of opinion for the children. I'll leave it at that. Okay, okay. I'm not gonna press you, but there were different ways that they were trying to get into the kids' heads. They're like the father of one of the actors. I can't remember his name, but he was like saying the guy on set. I don't know if it was Dan Schneider, but it was one of the executives at or one of the producers at Nickelodeon. He was saying like, "Oh, your dad's trying to take your money. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't listen to him. You shouldn't be around him like that." And he's like, "Well, I love my dad, but he's been in the business for so long. He's probably seen this before, and I probably so they're like they try to turn them on their own parents. That's how disgusting this whole thing is. That's just abhorrent. That's hateful. It's loathsome. You have to hate that. You have to hate that. That's one thing that has to be hated. Was it only Nickelodeon or was it Disney also? Like That's So Raven and Corey in the House. I don't know about the Disney. They're just talking about Nickelodeon. There maybe was, I would imagine, at least one instance at Disney, but they haven't said anything, about that. They're talking mainly about Nickelodeon. It's all about power dynamic. Rick James seems very lucid. He seems very sober today. He's he's got most of his words correct. I'm proud of Rick James. Salute to you, sir. But yeah, seriously though. But it's only about Nickelodeon. I don't know about Disney. I have no clue about Disney. So the kids that were coming up, I saw the images. It was that one thing that disturbed me. Little kid, little brown skin, little black kid. He's got peanut butter all over his body, and dogs are licking it off him. And I heard somewhere that you shouldn't be feeding your dogs peanut butter anyway, and much less licking off a little black boy on national TV and probably international TV. The hell is that about? I'm going cold turkey on the dust. Rick James. Rick James is a angel dust user, a proud PCP head, and he's trying to go cold turkey. Well, I'm quitting cold turkey. You know what cold turkey is? Cold turkey. And I'm quitting it. I'm not having any more cold turkey. I'm only having roast beef, ham, and chicken, but no cold turkey. um, I got that from Zach Galifianakis, by the way. He's a great comedian. Um, have the turkey warm. Yeah, I won't have cold turkey, but I have warm turkey. I've heated up with some gravy and some cranberry sauce and stuffing or dressing, as some places in the country like to call it. Yeah, on a roll called a bobby. Come to Delaware, come or go to Nevada. I think there's only two places, maybe in a few other states on the Northeast. 4 likes, one person viewing. Rick James is the only person. I think he's the only one viewing, but I got 4 likes. I'm not mad at the 4 likes. I'm mad at the subscription. Subscription keeps going up and down. I'll go 485, 486, 485, 486. I need to have like 500 million subscribers. I only 5 likes. Well, there are only 4 likes in my screen. But getting back to the lecture at hand, this. Oh yeah, I totally. I woke up late. I admit. Well, you gotta pencil me in again. Pencil me in again, and I'll be on there. What do I have to do? Do I have to go on YouTube? Do I have to go on YouTube and go into the show? Is that like that? What is it? What is it on? Is it on YouTube? Rick James, Rachel's Ghost. Yes, YouTube. Okay. Well, can you let her know that I'm going to be on there tomorrow? I'm trying to be up there. What time? Give me a time. I didn't get a time last time. What time are we? Oh, am I supposed to be on? What time? Eastern time. Wednesday better. Okay, Wednesday. At what time? So I have it locked in my head. Just put in 9 a.m., 10 a.m., something like that. Whatever. The show runs at 9 a.m. Eastern time to 12 p.m. Okay, I can do that. I can wake up. It may be a little later, but I'll come in. I'll come through. But yeah, so this is a very serious situation, and what I always thought about in the back of my head, I'm like even right now, what is going on in SNL? Has there been any toxic writers' rooms? Have been what about soap operas? Are there toxic men and women? Are there toxic people? Mostly men though, mostly white men, sadly. But there are black men too. Look at Bill Cosby. Don't forget that, and so many others. Lorne Michaels, you give me an exact example of when he was did something a little toxic, and we'll see about it. We'll see, we'll talk about it. We will talk about it. You let me know when Lorne Michaels did something, because he's been going since at least '83. Like I think it was like he started SNL, then somebody else came in. I can't think of his name off the top. But he came in and he left the show. Then he came back in like '83 or '84, around the time Eddie Murphy was on, and that like catapulted the whole show. The show expanded, and nobody saw him become a megastar. You know, nobody saw that, but Eddie Murphy knew he was, and he just blew out and went into movies after that. But people were still watching SNL. Like, okay, we still get this, because there was a down. There was a drop in viewers. There was a drop in notoriety and excellence, I guess you could say, of the scripts. They call it Vile from New York instead of Live from New York. It was crazy, but I'm watching it. All that, and I think I watched it a few clips a few years ago, and I was like, this is pretty funny. This is good stuff. These kids got it. I was like, 25, 26 or something like that. If you look up on YouTube, you can look for all that sketches. You'll be able to do it. Rick James says he fired Bill Murray for one thing. Okay, now you're getting real cryptic now. For one thing. What was the one thing? Oh, that's all I can say. I can't say much else. That's all he's going to say. I can't tell you anything else. I can't say anything more. Yeah, Mad TV is kind of like the Mercedes Benz, and SNL is like the Rolls Royce. Like Mercedes Benz is nice and it's great, and if you keep it in good condition, you should be able to carry a Benz on for years. But it didn't have the lasting power as SNL obviously has, going on 50 seasons next year. But Mad TV was funny. Mad TV had a lot of great um, sketches. And when SNL wasn't funny, you would go over to Mad TV and watch that. It was on at different times though. It wasn't on at the exact same time, but it was around the same time. It was around like Saturdays, like 10:30 to 11:30, I think it was, and SNL was like 11:30 to 1. I think it still is too. But oh yeah, and Living Color. Oh my God, yeah, Living Color definitely is a classic show. And I'm sure every show has its moments, had its misdeeds, had its people doing things that were inappropriate, that were wrong, that were untoward. Um, everything, I can't, nobody, and they're just talking about this now. What if there was no documentary about this? I wouldn't have this on my show. That's in any workplace. That's what I think. I really think in any given workplace, there's probably, I don't know the percentages, but there's probably like it's probably over 80%. Some kind of touching and or saying certain things that are very inappropriate. Some kind of misconduct. I got 2 people in here. Thank you for the like. I appreciate that. I know Rick James is in here. If you don't want to talk, that's cool too. But I just like to see people, whoever's in here. I respect you. Definitely respecting Rick James today. Rick James is on his dean. He's on his dean. Assalamu alaikum. Salami, eggs, and bacon. I'm just trying to make some lightness, some levity to this because it is very serious. It's sad. It's very sad because they're child. One thing you cannot get back is your childhood. Once you hit that marker of, you could be a man or a woman at 14. Mr. Troy Star Terrain's father entered the Navy when he was 14 years old. If you can do that, God damn it, you're a man, you're a woman. Whoever, if you can join the armed forces at that young of age, you got to respect that. But prior to that, your childhood is very precious. So that's where we get our entertainers from. And our entertainers get, the story where they're Oprah, Tyler Perry, the list goes on and on and on. Who was touched, who was raped, who was, told they weren't good enough, told they weren't going to amount to anything. And it's like, I'm not vouching for any, physical touching or anything like that. But I've always wondered about the people that said, like, you're not going to amount to anything. You're not going to be great. You're not going to be anything. You're going to be worthless when you grow up. You're not going to, you're not going to amount to anything. They were either conscious or not conscious of what they were saying. Most of the time, I'm saying they're unconscious. They're not, concerned with, motivating them and saying like, oh, they said, you really think you think of that? You think of that about me? Well, I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna be the best person I can possibly be in life. Like, I don't know if they're conscious. I think they're unconscious. I think they just, get drunk or get high or slap them around and say, oh, you're not going to amount to a hill of beans. Nothing. Rick James says, this is the reason why Amanda Bynes is in the cuckoo's nest right these days. Well, hey, I can't vouch for that, but there's a very strong reason why she is, I think she has some kind of mental disorder. I'm going to look it up. There's a lot of things going on. She has some kind of mental disorder. She's a good-looking girl. She's older than me. She's a year older. She's got a tattoo and a nose ring. She looks totally different. Mental health and substance abuse problems. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Hey, welcome to the club. She had psychotic episodes, but she was very productive. She was in Easy A, and that was her last movie role and TV role. I think her TV role was 2008. Easy A was 2010, and she was very good in that role. She played her role pretty well. He says she's not fully there anymore. That movie is 10 years old. Yeah, I think it's more than 10 years old. I have 5 people watching, 5 likes. I'm not mad. Y'all gotta step up the subscription zone. If you're new to here to my program, hit that subscription button right now. Hit that subscription button. That's the way you can support me. If you can't, give me PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App, support me through subscriptions. That's the key to showing YouTube. Well, he's got 2 million subscriptions. He should be able to do well. All right. Like, that's the thing. It's all about subscriptions. I just get money either way. Don't be shy. We don't bite. Let's see some one ups. Yeah, I appreciate it. I got 5 and 5 right now. It's gonna go down. It's gonna go down. It's like 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. But I got my 5 likes. I don't think anybody's gonna take those likes away. We'll see. If they do, that's their problem. But yeah, Amanda Bynes. Let me see. Yeah, that was 14 years ago. Easy A. Easy A was 14 years ago with the queen or the princess of Hollywood right now, Miss Emma Stone, who has 2 Best Actress statues from the Academy Awards. She is definitely a major player in the game right now. She can do whatever movie she wants. She took over where Lindsay Lohan left off. She actually doesn't have red hair. She has blonde hair, but she dyed it. So he says, "I watch Poor Things just for the sexy scenes and skip the rest." That's everybody. That's everybody. I tried to watch the whole film, but the whole thing was, to do that because that's what everybody wants. That's how the sickos come out at night. They want to see the nude scenes and the sex scenes, but not the content of the movie. Because there's that oh, salute Black Cuddy. Black Cuddy's on the check-in. Black Cuddy, you sent me money. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. You sent me money. You're on here. I salute you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rick James. I'll wait till the end of the week to hit you up for that end of the week pay. I'll hit you up when that deposit hits that bank account. You work for FedEx, right? Rick Black Cuddy, it's FedEx, not UPS, or is it UPS and not FedEx? Which one is it? Is it FedEx or UPS? I think it's UPS. Tell me if it's UPS or not, please, sir. I want to support you. Get your name out there. But yeah, it's already down to 3. So it's probably gonna go down to 2. So it's gonna be Black Cuddy and Rick James. But anyway, yeah, so Amanda Bynes, I'm sure she suffered some kind of, childhood trauma, allegedly. I don't know, but I'm just guessing that, during her time on the show, she had some kind of issue. She had some kind of problem with one of the showrunners, and that's very sad. I I would say that, the way that everything is structured, it's about a dollar sign. Everything is at a dollar. What you are on early? Yeah, I am on early today, Rick James. He is a convict. Who is a convict? Who are you talking about? He is a convict. I have more problems with Poor Things. It's down to 1. Here it is. Drake Bell. Drake Bell is a convict? I didn't know that. I think I heard something like that. He was driving under influence. Yeah, he was. I don't know if he's a convict. He was arrested. It's looking at 13. He was a 31-year-old. He was talking to a 15-year-old. So he was an aggressor. He was somebody that was the predator, and I guess he earlier he was the prey. He has a GED. This is great. I gotta find a way to get this documentary. Not just I said not to try influence. Also trying to I was saying when he was 31 and she was 15. He was sending her inappropriate messages. He is project. Some not everybody knows it. That's a psychological term. Projecting. Let people know what Rick James projecting means. Let us know what projecting means. Just adjust a little bit. So it's a mess. It's terrible. Ariana Grande, Miss Ponytail. That's her trademark. That damn ponytail. Shoo. If I get a hold of that ponytail, girl, no. But yeah, she may have some stories. I didn't see the documentary. I think. Let me see how many parts it is. He was. It says that Drake Bell allegedly was sexually abused by Nickelodeon dialogue coach Brian Peck. There are 4 episodes, and they're only on Max and ID. I'm gonna try to catch the investigation Discovery tonight. It came on last night. I didn't know it was coming on, so I just happened to see on here on online um that this documentary will be airing. He's This Dan Schneider guy is ridiculous though. He's helped to create, this is according to Wikipedia, helped to create, write, and or produce the comedy series All That, Drake and Josh, Game Shakers, Henry Danger, Keenan and Kel, Sam and Cat, The Adventures of Kid Danger, The Manda Show, Victorious, What I Like About You, Zoe 101, and most notably iCarly. Those were iCarly is the most notable, and a vast majority of which aired on Nickelodeon. He also wrote and appeared in the 1997 film Good Burger, and wrote and produced the 2002 film Big Fat Liar. And this made bank. All these movies made bank, and these TV shows got high ratings. Looks like a man in drag. Dan Schneider likes them feet. Does he? I don't know. I can't vouch. I don't know if he has a foot fetish or not. But yeah, so it just I'm just doing the whole hour for this because it just gets at my soul for this. It just that's how kids get messed up. Like I had bipolar, but I didn't have any abuse. No abuse happened when I was a child. There were suggestions, but there was no abuse. No abuse in my life. But that's what it is. That's what it's like. You have kids that are extremely talented, that have all these different issues that are trying to to mask and hide. And what do? They go to the bottle. They go to different substances. They go to different narcotics, and they try to get the pain away, which makes it only worse. It's like they see a raging fire, and it's like if I just put a little gasoline on it. I mean, it's a liquid, right? It's just I just throw some gasoline. The fire got worse. Okay. Tell me what projecting means, Rick James. If you're gonna put it, you gotta say what it means. What does projecting mean? What on earth is projecting? I know what projecting is, but not everybody knows what projecting is. So there's very various different issues and times where it's featuring. Oh, okay. So here's some inappropriate jokes, including some featuring Ariana Grande. I'm gonna read this little part. It says the documentary revisits some of the jokes on Nickelodeon shows and how they might have had an inappropriate subtext referencing adult content on kids' TV. For example, in Victorious, a young Ariana Grande tries to juice a potato by moving her hands over a brown potato. Come on now. These are kids. These are just kids. These are kids, not, grown adults. Frierson, the former All That cast member, remembers being cast as Noseboy. For the costume, Frierson wore a large brown prosthetic nose on his face and shoulders, which seemed to resemble male genitals. During the punchline, he sneezed snot. It. I'm looking at the parents, though. I'm looking at the parents. Parents should have been more. I don't understand how this could go on. How they should have read the scripts. Oh yeah, it's just a potato. Sure, um, like anything. I don't even know what a good metaphor would be or a simile would be. Um, like yeah, I don't even know. I'm not gonna say it. It's not just a potato. It's actually phallic. You have to read a little. You have to have your third eye open. If you have your eighth eye open, you have to understand what it really means. But again, I put full blame or most of the blame on the parents. The parents could have stopped this stuff quickly and early. But you know what they're thinking? Dollar signs. Be quiet. Collect your deposits. Collect your checks probably at that time, and just keep going because you're in a special place. Everybody else is in school. The drudgery, doing homework, doing projects, doing all this stuff. You're just living a regular life. They're living a life that nobody really recognizes. And is who else? I'm trying to think of his name. He was in the news a lot. Is he gonna be on here? I can't think of his name though. Hold on. Orlando Brown. I'm gonna see. Was that Disney? Is that all Disney? Yeah, I think it was. But he had issues. He's got some serious problems going on. So it is sad. It happens to child actors. That's like such a cliche. That's like the ultimate cliche. The child actor does excellent. Is a spectacular hit. Wonderful. Does great things. Grows up. Becomes a bum. Becomes an alcoholic. Becomes a drug addict. Then they have to bounce back and start their career over again or do something. Sad. The parents are only okay. He said, "If I need my third eye open, I'm going to need my dust." Well, then close that third eye. Then we don't need you on the dust. You're pretty good right now, Rick James. The parents were only seeing the Benjamins, yeah, and the kids too. The kids too had to be, have some kind of money, coming in for themselves. I'm sure the parents were, paying their taxes for them and doing all the other stewardship, comes with, coming when you come into money. This is a Nickelodeon joke, but it's related kind of in a way. The money. Uh, Malcolm in the Middle actor. What's his name? Hold on. Malcolm. Got his name. Okay, what? Frankie Muniz. Yes, I remember he had a classic Porsche. He had a classic Porsche. Now he apparently is a stock car racer. He competes part-time in the NASCAR and Xfinity Series, driving the number 35 Ford Mustang for Joy Gates Motorsports. So yeah, so I'm not making that up. So he's a car guy. I don't know what happened to him, behind the scenes, but it could have been similar. I'm not saying, but Rick James, you just said Macaulay Culkin. What about him? What about Macaulay Culkin? I never heard any abuse. I just know that he defended Michael Jackson. He's a white man defending a very, frail looking black man. Malcolm, no. Frankie Muniz is Malcolm in the Middle, not Macaulay Culkin. Remember that. But yeah, so it is very sad, very this just disturbing how so many people can look at people and not have any compassion for them, and have compassion for the predators. That's the worst thing you can do. That means you're completely denigrating, disregarding, and disrespecting the victims, the people that have experienced some of the worst things to happen in life. And it's sad that they they try to make certain things funny, and it's not really it's not funny to anyone. Here's a part from the Today Show um, article. The documentary spotlights two convicted sex offenders on the set of Nickelodeon shows: Jason Michael Handy, a former production assistant, and Brian Peck, an actor and actor. The why is it pronounced and Brian Peck, an actor and dialogue coach? I didn't mean to say "and." I don't think. Both were convicted while they were working on Nickelodeon sets. The mother of a former Amanda Show child actor, here we go, listed only as MJ in the documentary, speaks out in the documentary about her daughter's exposure to Handy. Brandy, MJ's daughter, was booked on the show at 11. As a production assistant, Handy guided the kids to where they needed to be, Brandy's mom says. You thought, oh, I could be friends with this person, she says of Handy. On the way home, MJ says her daughter and Handy asked to email with her. A week later, Brandy received an email from Handy. I didn't see any harm in it. Okay, this is MJ. This is the parent. Here we go with the parents. I didn't see any harm in it. I just saw the dollar signs. I didn't see any harm in it. Nothing wrong with that. Shoot, let a grown ass man and your 15-year-old daughter interact with each other by email and not thinking anything of it. Oh, I didn't see any harm in it. That's all right. I'm still getting these checks. Nothing wrong with that. She goes on to say she went back and forth about reporting it, but decided not to. Afraid the police would think she was a bad parent, ironically, instead resolving to keep her family away from Handy. Her daughter never returned to show business. At least she did that. But she should have went to the cops. He's convicted. That would have been, an example of how he needs to be either locked up or, severely fined, something crazy, something substantial. 31 years old and a 15-year-old girl? Are you kidding me? 31-year-old man? That's out of pocket. Way out of pocket. The documentary also spotlights Peck, an actor and dialogue coach who was a constant presence on set. Everybody loved Brian, Sullivan says. He was charming, he was clever, and he was around all the time. He starred in every episode of the show as Pickle Boy, a recurring bit that saw him carrying around a towering plate of pickles. He also was a regular behind the scenes as dialogue coach. Sullivan's opinion of Peck changed during a party at his house when he discovered Peck had a self-portrait by convicted serial killer John Wayne Gacy on his walls. You talk about red flags. You want to talk about red flags? That's a red flag. That's a definite red flag. That's no question about that. That's John Wayne Gacy, if you don't know, was a professional clown, and he would have parties for these kids. And what he ended up doing was becoming a serial killer. And this was an inspiration. Not John Wayne Gacy. The difference. Um, he um, he was killing little kids. He was brutalizing and murdering young children. So he was a horrible human being, a vicious, disgusting monster. Um, and to have some kind of representation of him on the wall, what's that about? Come on, that that just so vicious and ugly. Sullivan and his All That cast co-stars later learned Peck had been accused on 11 counts of sexually abusing a minor. Peck pleaded no contest to 2 charges and was found guilty to both. He spent 16 months in prison. Drake Bell in the documentary reveals for the first time he was Peck's unnamed victim. Excuse me. I didn't get it right. Today reached out to Peck's attorney for comment and has not heard back at time of publication. In its statement on March 15th, Nickelodeon said, now that Drake Bell has disclosed his identity as the plaintiff in the 2004 case, we are dismayed and saddened to learn of the trauma he has endured, and we commend and support the strength required to come forward. Oh man, this whole case, man, it is something to behold. Just kids. They're just kids. Trying to find a way in life, trying to make some money, trying to be famous. Nothing wrong with being famous. If you want to be famous, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody says fortune or fame, Lord. Nothing wrong with fortune, nothing wrong with fame. As long as it's like fire, though. Fire can be used to warm and heat, or you can be set ablaze. You gotta be careful. And we were at 0 people. See, this is what I mean. James just tapped in, right? I'm at 0 people on my count. It's probably gonna go back to 1, but the algorithm is probably doesn't catch up with it as quickly. So we have to, really recognize the facts that these children, these young men and women, I don't know, Ariana Grande seems like she has issues, and I'm not saying she does. I'm saying she seems, maybe. I'm not sure. It only says that she participated in that sketch with the potato, and not just the potato. If you know more, you have to open up your third eye. You know what that means. Here's something else. Hearn, who is black, recalls a moment that brought him to tears on set. At the time, he was being fit for a costume for Lil Fetus, a sketch character meant to be the world's youngest rapper. Someone said the skin tone should be charcoal. I started to get teary-eyed. That was a moment when I felt I could get my mom about this. I could go get my mom about this. Exactly, the parent. But also, I know my mom and I know she would have rose hell, Hearn said. Tracy Brown, Hearn's mom, messing up, says she tried to tell Hearn's agent about the show's conditions. She was like, Tracy, come on, do it for Brian. Shut up. Brian says in the documentary, but I was like, things are weird here. See? This is what I'm talking about. This is how it's very racial, very sexualized. It's racial and sexual and inappropriate. And this is not adults, which is terrible and horrible in itself when you're in a sexual or racial kind of connotation or some kind of sketch where you're required to be racial or sexual, and you're not getting any benefit from it other than a check. That's all I say. Oh, boy, did you get paid? Well, that's all right. It's more than that. That's why you have the question. The question to me, I've oscillated back and forth. I've gone back and forth about this very idea. Black men in a dress. I I don't I've gone back and forth. I don't know how many times. I used to say, "Hey, they're getting paid and they get more opportunities." It's weird, but you get more opportunities when you put on a dress, or you get more money, more fame, more power. I mean power in the sense of saying you can move through the world with greater agility, not, power lust or anything like that. But you get more opportunities, you get more fame and wealth, and that's all good, right? But you gotta remember how many pictures of black men with their genitals stuffed in their mouth, hanging upside down or hanging from their neck. A crowd of white people holding up their fingers, pointing to the person who was lynched. How many white people are like that? How many pictures of white with a crowd of black people around? Of course, white men have been hanged in the past, and worse, the guillotine and stuff like that, had their heads chopped off. But just that whole idea of put on a dress, you're emasculating yourself. You're tearing down your manhood. You're not being fully, you know, um, heterosexual in a sense. You mean, and not that it's a bad thing to be homosexual. I'm just saying, if you profess to be heterosexual, if you profess to be, something like that, you're being someone that you're not in a sense. You're being ladylike or womanlike or feminine. But I've gone back and forth. I said, hey, Tyler Perry's a billionaire. If he didn't put on a dress, he probably wouldn't have had those billions. And I'm like, then again, did he have to put on a dress to get billions? He had multiple shows and TV shows and movies where he wasn't even in it, and he made bank. Or if he was in it, he wasn't, wearing a dress. He wasn't Medea. Oh, Rick James, slow down, slow down. Don't say that. Notice how this only happens in the USA. You are completely wrong, sir. If you go to Iraq, if you go to Afghanistan, they like little boys. They like other men. It's forbidden, but that's the reason why they like other people of their same sex. Men love little boys over there in Iraq and Afghanistan, where the war was. The two wars fought in the early to mid 21st century, featured men that enjoyed the company of little boys. That's a fact. That's I'm not making that up to sound cool or like I know it all, but I'm just telling you that's the reality of it. That's the truth. Martin Lawrence put on a dress and he didn't make bank. Yes, he made bank. He made super bank. And he lost his. That was when he went into he was wearing a heavy suit or something like that in the middle of the summer. He had like a $50 million deal or something crazy. He had you got to do your research, sir. Do your research. He had some issues. Here it is. During August, this is from Wikipedia. During August 1999, the same year or the year after, let me see, um, the year before Big Mama's house, the year before, he slipped into a 3-day coma after collapsing from heat exhaustion while jogging in 100-degree Fahrenheit heat in preparation for Big Mama's house. Look at that. While wearing heavy clothing and a plastic suit. He recovered in the hospital after entering a near fatal coma due to a body temperature of 107 degrees Fahrenheit. His breathing assisted by a ventilator. See that's what he was pushing for to get to the bag. Big Mama's house. This is how much it grossed. It was made for 30 million and it grossed 174 million. So he got a bag. He got a good bag. And I think there's Big Mama's house did not flop. It made $174 million. What are you talking about? It was made for 30 million. And Big Mama's House 2 came out in 2006, made for 40 million, made 141.5 million. Pretty good, return. Not as much as the previous one, but pretty good. And then the third one, like Mama Like Son, 32 million took an 82.3 million. So that's what usually happens with sequels. They usually go down. But yeah, so I just want to say this in closing. Be true, be righteous. Don't be a monster. Don't be a monster. I don't care who you are, because it's especially with the lives of children. Don't be a monster with adults, but it's definitely do not be toxic and nasty and disgusting and disturbing with children. That is a big no-no. So if you learn anything from Sky, from Skylar Saunders, know that you are protected by your mind, your brain, your thoughts. Make sure you are strong-willed and strong-minded, and be like the little girl. I can't remember her name, but she was a little girl that was kidnapped in Philadelphia, and she chewed through her duct tape and in a basement somewhere, and she got out of the house and ran home. That was, you got to have her spirit. That's the kind of spirit you should have for all the kids out there, and all the adults, the parents. God damn it, make sure you're a goddamn parent. Make sure you know how to deal with the producers and the executives and the showrunners and everybody like that. Don't get buffaloed. Don't get bullied into saying, well, if I come forward, then I'm gonna miss my check. So what? You can work somewhere else. They can work for another company. If they have the talent, they can work somewhere else. That's facts. So salute to everybody came in. Salute to Big what's his name? Black Cuddy. And of course Rick James. Those are the only two that stopped by. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I will see you sometime tomorrow. Take care.